Hi guys, welcome back to my life by mental health. I hope you all are doing well. I am so happy to be here today. So this video is going to be just a little bit different from what you're used to seeing because I've got a special guest. I've got someone with lived experience of mental health. Her experience is from her daughter who had mental health illness and is going through the mental health challenge currently as well. So I'm going to, due to confidentiality purposes, I'm going to call her Mrs. N, and you will not be able to see her face, but I'm going to have an interview and she can tell us about her story with mental illness and how mental illness has affected her as well as her family in general. So I'm going to introduce her to you guys and let her introduce herself. Okay, so Mrs. N, would you like to introduce yourself to my viewers, please?
Hello, thank you very much for having me. My name is Mrs. N, and I work as a nurse, and I have a daughter who had a mental health issue and is still suffering through mental health problems.
Okay, so I'm going to start with the interview and I'm going to ask her some questions and hopefully she will be able to share her experience with us, and hopefully it will help one person, someone who is watching me today. It might help someone with what they're going through as well in terms of mental illness. Okay, so Mrs. N, what was your experience with mental health? Like, how did you come about it?
Well, how I came about this mental health per se is my daughter, who is in her late 20s at the moment, and since she's been the age of 16 or even younger, she has been going through a lot, and this stems from maybe peer pressure, relationships sometimes, as well as family or directly family. But this have affected her so much that her character changed, her mood changed. She moved out of the house when she was quite young, and at that time I didn't know, quote unquote, the word mental health. I didn't recognize it. I didn't know what it is. It took for me to know that the stress of life, inclusive family issues, have affected her mental health. And being a professional, I had to go and find out what this is so that I'll be able to identify it and manage it. So this is where we are at the moment with this issue. So my daughter goes through occasional episodes of, breakdown.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. From what you said if you had known, you didn't know about mental health, you didn't have experience about it. Do you think if you had experience about mental health that you would have been able to maybe support her better at that point in time when it was starting off?
Absolutely. When we say mental health, a lot of people don't understand what it entails or what it is, or be able to identify when you're going through it. Every individual has occasional mental problem. When I mean mental problem, it's not that you're mad or anything. It's just that your mood and anxiety and your feelings are affected and take you out of your norm. So I had to go back to find out what it is, how it affects people, how to identify it, and how to manage it, and to be able to help my daughter. And that's the reason why I said, what you might think that a lot of people know about it because they hear the word quote mental health, and people, it's like a taboo, really. People don't want to talk about it. People don't know what it is. So whereby it affected my daughter and affected the relationship that I had with my daughter, I had no choice but to go and learn more. And whether it's via going to a course or via reading, researching, everything that I could do to be able to manage my daughter.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite sad. A lot of people don't know about mental health.
Absolutely.
It's affecting us every day of our lives. How did it affect your family? What sort of challenges did you face as a family?
Most definitely, the dynamics of the family changed. When she moved out, she has a brother who is younger, who didn't understand why the sister wasn't at home anymore, or why they didn't have the kind of relationship that they had since he was born. So he changed that. And then again, the adults within the family didn't understand mental health. Some of them turned their back on her, and there were whispers within the community, our community, that what's wrong with my daughter? Why is she behaving? Why is she doing the things that she's doing? Because everything that she was doing was being seen as negative and being seen as a bad child. But nobody had opportunity to ask, what stems that behavior that she was displaying. And so this broke down the family badly. It broke down the family and the family broke down in terms of people had to leave the house. I have to be by myself, and so it was still not what it should be or what I would love it to be, but it's better than what it was before.
Would you say there's a time that people, maybe other family members or friends, families, they upset you due to ignorance, due to not understanding? Is that what you're saying, due to not understanding?
Yes, so it brought lack of trust. It brought me questioning family love, because every time that she has an episode or she plays up, as they say, call it, the conclusion, there's that being judgmental on her when she's going through that. And if I may point out the type of things that causes this, is that she might wake up one day and she had an episode of wanting to take her own life, or not wanting to associate with people, or not wanting to eat, or not wanting to do anything for days and days. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, or she's bad-mouthed some relatives, or she swear on them, or she can't be bothered. These things are the things that the family take as being a bad person. So they label her as, my daughter is bad. So this is very upsetting for me, because they fail to understand that she has a problem.
Yeah.
And that problem has not been dealt with, and is being magnified by being judged within her family relatives. And if she's judged outside and she has no self-esteem and she has no confidence in herself, and family is making it worse. So that was even very difficult for me to handle, because I have no leg to stand on to reassure her or affirm her that her family is there for her, which physically and truthfully they're not. The only person that she had faith in was me, and sometimes that me doesn't even work for her, because she feels that she wants to be left alone. Nobody can help her anymore.
So would you say there's stigma around mental health?
Absolutely. The stigma is quite, I think it's massive. Maybe now people are understanding it, but from my culture, it's never spoken of. It's something that when you bring it up, is considered as, again, quote unquote, somebody who has madness. So therefore you need to be treated either on the cultural way or the religious way. And this is going on up until tomorrow, because still that my community have failed to understand or even make any effort to understand mental health. So by doing that, where do we go from here? And it will continue to be spoken of behind, as in something is wrong with her, something is wrong with her. Yes, but if something is wrong with her, we're not going the right path. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is a stigma, and I believe that it will remain a stigma for years to come, unless we get educated through things like this. We get taught on how to manage it through what you're doing. Then hopefully within my community they will understand more.
Because we definitely need to create more awareness about mental health, especially with the kind of talking behind someone's back. It doesn't make it easier for that person, isn't it? So would you say that we need more conversation around mental
Absolutely.
health?
It might be a difficult conversation. Now, if you would have asked me say 6-7 years ago, 10 years ago, will I be sitting down here with you discussing mental health? Absolutely no. Because I didn't believe then that mental health will ever is something that should be talked about. One, I don't even believe that it happens to my culture, but now it have happened to me, in one of my family member, my daughter, directly. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm happy to talk about it, because if not talked about it, how can we know what it is, understand what it is, and know how to manage it?
It's true, because I believe that there's a lot of ignorance around mental health.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of ignorance, and until we start talking and educating people to understand that mental health in quote is not all about madness, it's not all about somebody's crazy, and to learn how to support people a lot better, maybe some of the challenges that we're going through wouldn't be going through that right now.
The thing, don't get me wrong, it's difficult to talk about. It's difficult. If you have to understand our culture, that we're not that good at talking about these things. But I'm saying, even if it's a little bit that you talk about and you leave out some things, and then you come back another time, you understand something, then you talk about it. But it needs to be mentioned. It just needs to be pointed out that it is there, and it's there in our midst.
Of course.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. And let's not kick it back and say, it's okay, they're gonna get better. Mental health don't happen like that. It occurs, and it has a trigger. And once that trigger remains there, it will always trigger off, bad days.
Of course. Wow. You'd mentioned something about some of the challenges that your daughter went through was attempting suicide, talking about suicide. How did you manage that?
That was very difficult. You couldn't manage it because when she closes up, she closes up. She don't want no one there. But I had confidence that, the professionals are there to help her because she was referred to different places.
Okay.
But I realized that those challenges, I was causing most of them because I was not approaching it the right way. So I was like telling her off, shouting on her, is this how you want your life to go? That was making it worse.
Yeah.
And where I had no other way, I had no choice. And as you learn, whereby I realized as a professional, I can ask for help within my organization, as in, do they offer such programs where they will teach us or, inform me more about it? And yes, they had. Yeah. So I had to go for some study days, teachings, hear some testimonials to see how they were handling it. I was also given some, things to read up on. And I realized that the more I was handling it my own way, the worse it was getting.
Yeah.
So I had to ask to people who know how to do it.
Yeah.
We don't know everything. I might know something else how to do it, but how to manage mental health was not my foray. It wasn't something that I needed to do, and I didn't bother learning it. So now I'm giving up and I'm saying my hands are up.
Yeah.
I need help. And help came.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now is much better because then once I knew the trigger, I removed those triggers from her.
Yeah.
So she doesn't get that much episodes. She doesn't even get episodes. So she talks to me now. While before there was no communication whatsoever. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. She would either turn off her phone or change her number so I can't get hold of her. Now that period was very dangerous for me because anything could have happened.
Of course, yeah. So right now you've got the help that you need. You understand it better. What sort of coping mechanism do you use for your own self as well?
So for me, that was a lot of me as well. So I get a bit anxious.
Yeah.
I'm always wanting to know where she is she's okay, can she pick up her phone, all those things. So I had to stop those things. So what happened was that I wanted to meet up with her. I wanted to just have more time communicating, talking.
Yeah.
I'm spending time like girls. So like we can go out and to dinners or to cinemas before pre-pandemic, and make up sessions where we can sit down and do beauty sessions.
Yeah.
So what I did was to not have an argument with her and not blame her.
Yeah.
Yes. Or be in a fighting mood with her.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring myself down to say, I want to do things like, what are the things that you like? Let's do it together.
Yeah.
That lack of mother and daughter relationship, I had to rebuild it again. And by rebuilding it, I had to understand the things that trigger her off. And then that means if she don't have money, mental health triggers off. If she don't have food, she gets triggered off. If she has bad friends, so we have to sit down and look at her alive, they say, what makes her happy, and then contribute on those things that make her happy. And then I realized that the minute she had a career, she had started earning money, started paying her own way because she had her own house. She was cooking, she was learning how to cook from me. Her days of depression and anxiety started reducing. But however, does she get bad days? Absolutely. But being out of the house whereby she works, because she looks after youths or disabled children, so she has fulfillment. She needed something to say, I've done good today. And that was a tick for her. Whereby before she was not unproductive. So being unproductive was worse for her because she's been without going deeper into some things that she wouldn't want me to talk about, she's been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? Physical abuse, sexual abuse, the whole lot. So because she's been through that, it kind of it comes on her brain every now and then. But where she's busy working, she tends to. So, and she was referred to talking therapy, counselors, and she had some time that she was being managed with medication. So all those things help. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That was my next question to you. I was going to ask you what sort of services was there to help you to support your daughter.
So her GP gave her some medications to manage her depression and anxiety. She was also referred to counselor. She was referred to talking therapy, whereby she was smoking a lot. She was also referred to alcohol and drug reset.
Okay.
And although she did not go into one of them fully, but she understood that these are going to help her. So the one that I know that she took up more was the counseling, talking about it.
Yeah.
And she herself became a prominent, recognized YouTuber in her own way.
Yeah.
So I think that gave her opportunity, platform to talk about her issues. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that helped a lot.
Okay.
But she never stopped the talking therapy. Every now and then she still have talking therapy, because she needs time to herself to talk about herself and how things. It doesn't have to be me all the time.
Yeah.
But whereby I'm 24/7 as a mother, I realize now that she comes to me with every little problem. It can be overwhelming sometimes, but it wasn't like that before, so I mustn't complain.
Yeah.
Because she was not talking to me at all in terms of releasing those inner feelings that was triggering off her bad days.
Yeah.
But now, the minute those things come, she will call mommy.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
At least she has someone that she can rely on. She can
Absolutely,
talk to,
absolutely.
You know, because guys, I think with mental health, you need to be able to talk to someone. You need to be able to talk about your feelings and share your experiences with someone that is trusted, someone that would listen to you. It's very important, because that's one of the ways to manage whatever difficulties that you're having at that point in time. And I'm guessing is working for your daughter, isn't
Absolutely.
it? That's really good. So what has made you to choose to share your story, to kind of speak to my viewers?
Because I feel that a lot of people out there are living with this and not talking about it.
Yeah.
They don't even know that is happening to them.
Yeah.
Neither do they. And the ones that recognize that is happening, they don't know how to manage it.
Yeah.
Again, you got to understand, our community, where we come from, is this, you don't talk about this. So some people are suffering in silence.
Of course.
And if my testimonial is my experience will help somebody out there, I am very, very grateful. I'm very happy that somebody hears that it's not just only non-African people or non-black people. It happens to anyone.
Thank you so much. I am so grateful that you were able to share your story with us, and hopefully it might motivate someone out there to start talking, to share their own story as well, because sharing your story, opening up, might help somebody else, someone who is not able to get up and go and seek for help. It might help someone to decide, okay, I'm going to ask for that help, I'm going to get support. Some people are suffering in silence. Most people are suffering in silence. Most people don't even recognize that they're going through a mental health challenge, not to talk of seeking help. I think it's time that we start opening up and talking about the issues that we're having with mental illness. You don't have to talk to everyone and anyone. Find someone that you can trust, someone that you can open up to. Speak to your doctor, speak to your GP. Find someone that you can talk to start helping you to understand what you're going through. From what you heard from Mrs. N, her daughter just needed an opportunity. She needed someone to talk to. She needed to kind of focus her mind on something, and she was able to start something, to do something that is very inspiring for her, something that has helped her to kind of distract herself, to kind of focus her mind on something else. So I'm gonna end this interview here, and thank you so much to you guys for kind of tuning in and listening to this story. If you want to share your story with me, please contact me and let me know, so that we can create more awareness about mental health. The more we create awareness, hopefully the more we can make a difference, and the more we can change someone's life. So until next time, keep living life, keep enjoying life, and keep loving yourself. Actually, before I finish, Mrs. N, is there anything else you would like to share with us, with my viewers?
No, really. Thank you very much for having me, and I think you're doing a great job. And I hope that you continue, and that your platform will reach out to a lot of people, and they'll be able to express themselves or get to know more about mental health.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on my on this platform today. I'm really, really grateful. Thank you. So guys, like I said, keep living life, keep enjoying life, and keep loving yourself. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video.